after you press the button. It seems to kind of do that. It's Tuesday! Katie's here!
It's Tuesday, January 20th.
Oh, let me switch the camera. Whoop. Tuesday, January 20th. Katie's here!
Hello.
So, there you go. That works. I'm here. It's Shanahanigans Live. It's that show that's on. Yes, it's Tuesday. I'm just so tired for some reason. That's neither here nor there. We always have an important question to ask at the beginning of every single episode of Shanahanigans Live. The only show that asks such a question in its own intro song goes something like this: Is
It.
recording?
It's a broadcasting.
It's time, huh?
Shanahanigans Live.
If you're just joining us, which most people seem to miss the theme song for one reason or another, this might be your first time seeing it after all these years. So, tell everyone that we do a theme song. Some people might not believe it otherwise. It's recording.
It's broadcasting.
It's time, huh?
It's a show called Shanahanigans Live.
We're gonna do this episode.
I'm working on a montage.
Hey! How can I even rhyme that? Wait. I should always ask these questions beforehand. Well, we'll figure out when we get there. Oh! Katie's gonna work on a montage.
Mm-hmm.
And Shaggy's gonna speak. Oh, that's a traditional one. We'll just stick with it. This is gonna be kind of shorter episode because not much happened this week.
Mm.
No, not much. I'm tired. Oh gosh, half an hour episode. Man, it's a good thing. Oh, it's recording.
It's broadcasting.
Time for
Time for the Shanahanigans Live.
live. If you're joining us, we also have a chat system that sort of kind of works. It is Tuesday, the January date that Katie mentioned at the top of the show. It's 20th on the nose, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Welcome to Shanahanigans Live, the only show that has Andrew Murray joining right on time. Andrew writes in on the Q&A saying, it's recording. Yes, it is. And hopefully it's also broadcasting. Hopefully it's doing both things. If you're new to the show, this is a show where we just talk animation, comics, arts, video games, creativity, and all general sense of purpose. The thing that we are striving to do all our lives to find definition. And you too can join in with the Q&A conversation on the Google Plus questions and answer tably-do that takes you over to the thing that lets you ask a question, and those kind of stack up in no particular order, so you can vote for them as well if you're just like, oh my gosh, I put up a question and it wasn't answered yet, it's getting buried under the many questions. You can vote it, and hopefully other people scrolling through the chat system can vote as well. I've not been a viewer of this show, so I don't know how it works.
We just assume after 150 that it does.
Yeah, we just assume after all this time it works somehow. Some people seem to have figured it out. I've yet to be able to watch a show I've done live myself, so I can't comment on it if it works or not. Katie, how's your week been?
It's been good. I mean, it just started, so I'm just working.
Since last being on the air.
Really? Well, I mean, I had a really fun Sunday. I went skiing to Blue Mountain with some friends, which was awesome. It was slightly warmer for a frigid Toronto winter. Yeah, and I did a bunch of skiing, and it felt really good. So, and I didn't hurt the next day. So yeah, yoga. But mostly, I'm just kind of like hitting deadline mode. So I'm just like, when am I not though? Right? I'm just getting
yeah.
A little bit.
Internal state of the deadline.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I can get everything hit on time.
My week.
Well, I'm working as always.
Yes. It's good to work.
Mm-hmm.
I like that feeling. I want that feeling again. My week, this was the first time we finally, after all these years, myself and my friend, I don't know if you ever met him, Dan, good guy. For the longest time, we heard about this thing called Beerio Kart.
Oh, God.
Which was on, just a post of how to play Mario Kart as a drinking game. Called you can use any version of Mario Kart. They, in this article, this was the written one. They were using Mario Kart 64 because, of course, it's a good game. But myself, I have Mario Kart 8, which is the greatest game, so I'll say that openly. Best game ever, even better than Mario Kart 64. Not the battle mode, mind you, but racing in general, greatest game ever. Neither here nor there. The original article from a couple years back was all like, "Oh, this is how it works. The Mario drinking game, Beerio Kart. How it works is at the start of a race, once 3, 2, 1, go. You all got to crack open your cans. Now the thing is, you can't win the race until you finish your drink, but you can't drink while driving in your Mario Kart. You've got to either at the start chug right away, or maybe drive a bit, then pull over to the side. No rolling stops. Make sure your handbrake is on and everything. Also, if you're parking on an incline, or in the case of Mario Kart 8, inverted. Make sure your parking brake is on. You don't want to fall into nothingness. And then you can drink, and then continue driving. And it's a game of balance, because it's you turn off all the CPUs. It's just 4 of you, and whether you're really good at drinking up front, or you'd rather do a couple laps than take a drink or something like that. That's the deal of it. And if you pass the finish line and you still have drink left, disqualified. You're done. You lose. And that's the basic rules of Beerio Kart. Sounds simple, straightforward enough. You may ask yourself, do you have to be good at drinking? And presumably, I guess that's what would help you. I'm not particularly good at it, so I was like, you know what? Maybe beers will be too tricky. How about I buy these raspberry Smirnoff soda can mixes? They're a little thinner, and it's sweet. Probably easier to drink than, say, trying to crush a beer while driving around in a Mario Kart. Not so, we discovered. Maybe due to the alcoholic content or the sweetness, I don't know. But trying to chug at the beginning of the starting line in Mario Kart 8, trying to chug a Smirnoff raspberry soda mix can burns so much, and not in the good way.
It's disgusting. I was so apprehensive about this game because I was like, I'm not much of a drinker. I've got not much tolerance. I might have a third of a glass of wine every couple of days, and then you're like, oh, here are these little things we're just gonna shot right now, and I was like, you know what, I'll do one for just the sake of the fun, because it's like, yeah, it'll be like old times back when you were in college, and it was just horrific. It was disgusting. It was like trying to down a Red Bull in one shot, and you just couldn't stop burping.
It's the same can as a Red Bull.
And I don't know how you guys did it, but it's like I couldn't even.
Oh, I didn't.
You were kind to give me the rule where I could do half of it.
Yeah.
Because that was it. That was disgusting. I don't like beer. I'm not a beer drinker, so I can't do any of that stuff. But
I'm not too huge on beers either. But I was just surprised that the Pabst Blue Ribbons were easier to drink than the Smirnoffs, and I don't know if it's because of sparkliness or alcohol content or something. But for some reason, on the second race after that delightful example of how painful it could be, I think we went to Moo Moo Meadows or something like that, and this time we had the Pabst Blue Ribbons, and it was for some reason a lot easier to try to rush that. Either way, I'm pretty good. I don't mind to toot my own horn, but I am really good at Mario Kart 8. I tend to destroy anyone I play with. Or I'll slow it down. I'll let the blue shell hit me. I don't know, whatever. But I could not win Beerio Kart for the life of me.
I don't think anybody wins Beerio Kart. Even when you win, at what cost?
Yeah, we've talked about bananas mode in Mario Kart 8. How it's just you play with just bananas as the only weapon, and how that makes it a really hard game. Beerio Kart equally makes it a hard game again. So I'm like, finally, there's some new challenge back in Mario Kart 8 for me to stumble over. But will I do it again? Probably not. I think I'm good. I think I appreciate the premise of Beerio. Well, actually, to go back a step, also, the reason why we brought up Beerio Kart again was originally the friend, my buddy Dan, I told we want to do this, but he moved off to Vancouver for a while. He finally came back, and around the same time of him coming back, BuzzFeed released a video about Beerio Kart, and this is how many years after the original article. So that kind of timed out nicely. I'm like, Dan, you're back in town. Let's go to that place in Chinatown and get some pork ears and bathtub beers, cheap beers, and then we'll come back and play Mario Kart all night. Halfway through the night, we ended up having more people than actually anticipated showing up, so we switched over to Smash Bros. Or Smash Beers, I guess. I don't know. At that point, there was no rules. We also learned that Charizard is fantastic. It's I don't know. I don't even let's just say any skill or ability I've ever had in Mario Kart or Smash Bros. Just kind of went out the window that night. But it was worth doing. Give it a try, but do it safely, guys. Don't go over your limit if you don't enjoy chugging beers.
Or don't try it.
Or don't do it.
That's good too. Just don't do it.
Or don't do it at all.
It's fun to not do it and just play Mario Kart normally.
You could just play Mario Kart the way it was meant to be, with family and friends and safety, and non-alcoholic beverages. That's up to you guys. Whatever. But it did resonate in me that there's so many little kind of games you don't even have to do alcohol, of course. You could have just done iced tea, with Mario, iced tea cart, and
or you gotta eat a cheesecake every race, so you get 10 different cheesecakes.
Yeah.
You want to die.
Or like it would be like poutine Kart, and you just gotta like polish off a box of poutine before the race is done. Now that being said, I don't like eat. I find eating contest is more dangerous for me than a drinking contest.
Yeah.
I think 'cause, food and me sometimes I have like a little trouble, but like. I think in like there's always a way to spin. Like I was always thinking like back in the day, like things like with like Mario Party or something like that. If you use like real money, and
these are innocent little games that are already good enough as they are. You're like, let's bring the adult world into it.
Yeah, how can we add risk to reward?
How can we make this sweet game?
We'll all pitch in enough money that there is on the standard level of Mario Party. So we all put in like say like $300 each. And it's just like, and then there's actual weight to the game all of a sudden, So when Bowser takes all your coins, you really feel it when you can't pay the rent the next month.
Yeah.
You'll hate the Bowser bomb even more than normal. Jumping into the Q&A, we got a couple folks joining us. Creepy Porpoise, aka Elizabeth Welch, saying, "Hey guys, what's going on?"
Sup.
Matthew Pichard saying, "No one can beat you in karts." You say, "Is that a challenge I'm hearing?" Nah, it's just the truth. Lil Armina saying, "Happy Tuesday, guys." The green hat is awesome, by the way. Thank you very much. From previous episodes, I mentioned this hat was, it's a Link hat. Where's the? There they are. Yes, my younger sister made it for me for the holidays, so it's all good. Secret Santa treat to receive. We got Alicia Danan saying, "Hey guys, good Tuesday. Listening to while working on the computer, illustrating homework. What kind of homework?"
Yeah, homework.
We found out last week people were doing stairs, and that led on to like a 20-minute conversation. Who knows what you're doing, man?
That was weird. And then we went out with a bunch of friends, and they were like, "Why are you talking about stairs so long?" And then that turned into a 20-minute conversation, and I was just like, "Oh, what's happening?"
Well, because someone pulled out the big guns. They're like, "Oh man, in Lilo and Stitch, she sits on these steps, and there's like 3 of them," and I'm like, but I don't want to get into it now. Watch last week's episode. Let's see. We also got Catherine Merritt saying, "This reminds me of No Wrong Way to Play." I think there are all these links and stuff. It's Borderlands, runs a blog compiling ways players have gains different creatively. Well, that's the interesting thing with a lot of video games. So back in the day, we did this more because we had more time on our hands. But we didn't just play a video game the way you're supposed to play it. We played with it like it was a toy in a way. Like you can have stories in Mario Kart with 2 players driving around the castle and stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, or like even with like Heather back in like Smash Bros. Melee, you can have characters doing stuff and like create little stories and do giant mode on top of the 4-side buildings, so it's like Donkey Kong and Bowser or like basic King Kong, Godzilla and stuff like that, and you'll have like other characters running around. It's like those games are like became toy boxes in a way, and I know other people do things like I think like Rooster Teeth and stuff will do like other mini games where they'll like be like launching in the Grand Theft Auto trying to see like how far they can like fly off a cliff and land on an airplane, or it's just like playing with, but it's playing with games as opposed to playing the game. So I can't use the link right now, but I can try to copy paste it maybe onto something. Thank you for the link. Let me see. Where's my notepad? Come on, notepad. There you go. Whoop. I'll check that in a way. No Wrong Way to Play .tumblr. I always add new Tumblrs to my list. And Tumblr these days, I'm actually a big fan of, even though I haven't played it yet, or any of them yet, all like the Fire Emblem art people are doing. Cause, like,
it looks really amazing.
It's actually what's getting me, like, beyond like playing as Marth all the time back on Melee, the comics and stuff people are coming up with is what's getting me like most interested to try Fire Emblem Awakening. Just
so if you want to get the system that you played on, what is that?
The 3DS, yes.
Yeah,
that thing.
One of those things. What were you guys with yours?
And also because people are just going nuts with the whole like shipping thing and like how it's like, and the interesting thing was the story was of this last Fire Emblem, it was going to be if I'm understanding, it was supposed to be like the last one if it didn't sell. So the creators kind of just went nuts and did whatever they wanted, and then it became like one of the most successful. Like I can't say for sure, but like it sold really well for like the 3DS RPG platform. And now there's a new one coming out. So there you go. The trailer came out in a recent Nintendo Direct with the Dancy Girl, and I don't know what it's about. But there's a girl dancing, and that like took the internet by storm. And like she's spinning, that's how we operate these days on news. Other news, video game. We'll go over the video game stuff quick because Katie's like, boo.
No, I'm just plugging away.
Oh well, listen to this.
I've heard it's video game news. This is probably
this will perk your ears up. In Halo news, this week they finally released the patch for the much bugged and painful to play Master Chief Collection on the Xbox One. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm going to be up and I'm going to try it and I'm going to get in a game. I got in a game, first game, capture the flag on terminal from Halo 2. Nice throwback. Game starts. Nothing happens. Game just ends right away.
Ooh, what?
Game over.
What happened?
No one won. No one lost. Halo.
What?
Okay, I say to myself, maybe that was just a fluke after this amazing patch update. Let's try this again. Jump into a game. Game loads. It loads on the game over screen.
Whoa.
Oh boy.
That's a
Xbox
problem,
One,
right?
you're a treat.
Yikes.
You are the next generation. How come Mario Kart on the Wii U works so well,
Have they
yet
addressed it?
flagship Halo after 2 months still doesn't work? How have they addressed it? Very good question. They know there's a problem.
Uh-huh.
They're aware there's a problem. Oh, mercy.
I take it nothing's being done about it.
I don't know, like, this generation of gaming is, like, outside of Nintendo, I've been very disheveled, I feel, because it's like, you know, the Assassin's Creed comes out rushed, this Halo thing comes out rushed, all these games are coming out rushed, and then they're pushing these sequels and, like, apology-free content to make you feel better about buying something that's horrible. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just like, it's so depressing. It's just like there's something so charming about Nintendo, what they're doing these days. And I know, like, they're not doing everything perfectly. Like the whole Amiibo fiasco was quite interesting. But you know, as far as them being like, yeah, here's this new game, Splatoon. It's like you're these squid kids, and you need to paint the level, and it's nice contrasting colors, and the winner is one to paint the level the most at the end. And I'm like, all right, that's a cool new idea. Why not? Let's do this. And then you go back to Microsoft, and it's like, hey, remember all those games you loved 20 years ago, and they're all in this package? Well, they don't work. And you're like, hey, okay, thanks. Next Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Ugh, I don't know. Hurt feelings. I've got hurt feelings. I've got hurt feelings. I know there's greater issues in the world, but you know, when you enjoy your games and you can't enjoy your games, then what do you enjoy? Speaking of games, quickly. All right, a few more things on games, which is also making me depressed. I'm watching the Game Grumps Sonic episodes. Usually when it comes to Game Grumps, I've only watched kind of the one-offs, the verses, and I never like invest time into the episodes. And like a month back or so, I was way into like watching the Sonic Boom and how painful this brand new, speaking of like broken and unpolished games, this brand new flagship title from Sega, how broken it is, and just going through these episodes and watching them. After a while, I just stopped because I had to get away. But I came back trying with the one that everyone keeps referencing, Sonic 06, when they tried to reboot or re-release Sonic back in 2006, which is one of the weirdest reboots ever because it's like it's still Sonic and all the characters except they're in this weird human world, and there's this princess character, and he spends like half his missions, and she's like human height and looks like a J-pop idol, and he's this little cartoon hedgehog, and there's this. For some reason, they're just together in the same scenes, in the same world, and it's just, that's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very unsettling. And he has to, she gets kidnapped 3 times within the span of the first half of the game.
Lord.
Like, the same way every time, too. Like, you'll rescue her, someone confronts you, then this gloved robot hand picks her up the 3rd time, and you're like, are you kidding me? What is this? And then after you rescue her that 3rd time, Robotnik Eggman comes back and he's like, I'll destroy the city, and then she goes to him willingly because she's like a diplomatic figure. I'm just like, this is just like supposedly story. The gameplay is just brutal, and the camera and everything, and it created this new search term that I've been using on Google that I haven't been able to find any answers to. And it starts with this: did blank, and blank is like the company, the game studio, learn anything from blank? And I've been doing this for many companies these days where I'm just like, did Sega learn anything from Sonic 06? Did Halo learn anything from Master Chief Collection? Did Ubisoft learn anything from Assassin's Creed Unity? And I'm just like, I don't think the answers have come, or if they ever will come, because it's just a weird world we live in. But this is the climate we're in. We're in annual releases where games each year have to have a new release, and there's 2 games being worked on at the same time, and there's a rush and a holiday deadline, and it's getting pushed out the door, and no one's trying to verbally blame anybody, even though everyone is unconsciously blaming each other and rushed. It's frustrating. It's just really frustrating. I miss the days when Nintendo and stuff would just be like, oh yeah, Zelda's not ready, we're delaying it 6 months, you're going to hate us for now, but when it comes out, it's going to be amazing. And we're like, you know what, you're right. The extra time did help, and it's a great game.
Yeah, it's like stuff being late. People want to see a good product. They're not going to necessarily remember that, oh, you were 2 months late with this, unless there's a insane deadline that you have to be on air. But, I mean, when they're the ones putting the games out, like, they should be able to figure out when it's ready to be released, I guess.
We got Andrew Murray saying, oh man, Sonic Boom. Have you guys heard of Chris Chan, Sonic Chew? Oh man, go nuts. Well, I'll add that to my copy paste because I'm not sure what that is. But thank you for the recommendation. Boop, boop, copy paste. Done. From a little second ago, we had Alicia Denung saying regarding her homework. We're tracing a thing on Illustrator for homework. It's supposed to teach us how to use the program, but it's been taking me forever to do even the line work. I guess that's the pen tool, right? Mainly. Illustrator, Vector.
I've never learned to use that, but
Illustrator is kind of, if you're used to working in like document settings, Illustrator is very intimidating because you basically work in this open world of nothingness. Like the size of your document is irrelevant. It's like you're just in white space where your art exists, and you kind of create the zones that are going to be printed if you intend to print or copy paste. Like it's brilliant in that way, where it's just like this is just a canvas of eternity or something like that, and this isn't actually the size of anything. This is just where the image exists. But I've never really put the time into learning Illustrator. I tried, but it was just like going there from Photoshop was very jarring because it's like same company, all the same damn icons, everything is different, and I don't get it.
Yeah, you'll have to go through a simple tutorial to get used to it, I think.
Sunday. We got little Armina saying, hey guys, did you watch the premiere of this new show called Star vs. the Forces of Evil?
I have not.
I've been meaning to.
That's Disney, right? It looks really fun. All I've seen is people tweeting at me like, why aren't you guys working on this show? I'm like, I don't know. Nobody called me.
Yeah, like no one really asked me to work on anything. I don't know. It's just, I would love to.
Sounds like fun, but yeah, I'm just here doing my thing.
We have to check it. There's a couple things that's on my list between that and like Agent Carter. What other shows I want to watch? I gotta keep going with the new Archer season, which there's lots of stuff to watch right now. But for some reason, I keep watching these 108 episodes of Sonic 06 on Game Grumps instead.
Jeez.
I'm like 30 in. I'm getting there.
Why are there so many of them?
Because they do like 9-minute installments. Like they'll sit down and play for like hours, but they, for easier viewership and B for honestly like extra, content to release on more frequent basis, they break it up into like 9-minute segments, so that it's like as opposed to releasing one like 2-hour video, which will only get one set of views, you'll release like 20 videos that will get the same amount of views for videos that it's that works. It's great stuff. Great stuff.
I see.
Going back to games quickly, we've got Matthew Pritchard saying supposedly Rocksteady is doing something like that with the Batman Arkham City. It was supposed to be released late October, but they delayed it till summer, so that it would be really awesome. And that's also the story behind the original Arkham, which I don't know the whole story, but originally it was supposed to be, oh shoot, new Batman movie's coming out, we better make a video game tie-in. And it was going to be way too tight to release a game. And all these video game tie-in movies where anytime there's a movie, there's a game, the game is more or less awful because there's just no time to make it good. But instead of that, they're just like, you know what, let's make a whole different game. They made Arkham Asylum, and it basically changed the industry as far as like stealth action beat 'em up kind of games go. It took a lot of what already set the groundwork, but it became the model of like how to do a really cool comic-based video game with a fighting system that was like fluid. Like you're fighting one guy, some other guy will come in to get you, and you like swap over to him. And I know like Assassin's Creed also did that, but I forget they're kind of like influencing each other at this rate, because it's like you'll cancel out of your previous action to block another action, but it's not like jarring looking. It's very fluid, and like and that came from them like having their own game as opposed to being like, we better get the Dark Knight Rises the game out on the shelf and make the side-scrolly version for the handheld. It's like, no, they probably made a side-scrolly version anyway, but the point is, they made Arkham Asylum, they got Kevin Conroy in there, they got Mark Hamill in there, they made it moody, they made it awesome. Dude grows a beard, not as big as this, but like, Batman gets some grizzle throughout the whole game. You start to feel the weight of him being on this island where everyone's
you grow a beard in it?
not a full beard, but like he starts off clean shaven and he gets
slowly,
more torn. Visually, his model gets more torn up throughout the game and more beardy stuff, and you feel it. The only thing awful about the game is the very last fight is just ludicrous. It makes no sense whatsoever. But the point is, it is like, I'm glad they went that route as opposed to being like, we better do the Nolan video game. It's like, no, you don't need to tie in every damn movie. Sometimes just do a silly version or something completely different. You have a good time. We got Tyler Mann saying, reminds me of Epic Mickey 2. They spent so much time perfecting it that people forgot about the sequel, and they had to cancel a third game to shut down the studio, which sucks. Oh, really? They delayed that long?
The reverse of...
Well, I didn't mean to do that. I don't mean like delay it that long, but like there's a certain... If you have the budget to do it, I would love people to put more time into it. And this is how kind of like Nintendo and friggin' Blizzard, did, at least back in the day. I don't know how it is nowadays, but like you would be reading Nintendo Power and just being like, oh shoot, Majora's Mask is delayed, Majora actually had a really fast turnover. That's why they reused all the same kind of character models and stuff from the previous game. But there is a lot of interesting stories behind Majora's Mask. How the guy directing that one kind of like made a lot more pushes to make it more interesting when it was going to be like just kind of a shake-up originally. It's just going to be like, oh, the dungeons are rejumbled or something like that. But like he went in and was like, here's a story, here's a moon. Every level is based on a state of depression and stuff like that, and it's just like. It's like fascinating how it turned out to be such an interesting game. And coming back now on the 3DS, that everyone is excited to jump on that. I've stated before, I can't go back because I completed the game to such a 100% degree in my mind that I can't go back and try it again, or else I'll like screw it up and just feel awful about the whole experience. So I appreciate that's out again, but I'm good, thank you. There's a couple other comments that kind of disappeared because we took too long to get to them. Remember, even if it's way off, we will go back and get to them. We'll talk. Going back about Illustrator, we got Maya H saying, I learned Illustrator during a archaeology course. I had to trace an excavation map, and drawings were made of pottery fragments. I never thought that that'd be how I'd learn to use Illustrator, but what do you know? I did. Yeah, that's
pretty handy. Yeah, because I mean that way, once it's factory, you can make it any size you need it to be.
Yeah.
Handy for map making.
Illustrator's great also for like designing logos and things. There's a very cool I forget who released it, but it was just kind of this 20-minute mini doc about this guy who designs logos. I don't think it was like an Illustrator ad or anything like that, but that's what he's using. He was just showing you his process and his inspirations and then what he does once he gets to Illustrator, how he makes one thing, makes a copy of that, then branches it out into like 6 quarters, whatever it is, and then starts modifying each one. Then when he gets to the point that he likes, he'll copy that and move around and start modifying. Then he has like all these kind of trains of thoughts, variations of these logos. And it's a really neat watch just to be like, that's how he comes up with kind of like a simple design or more complicated design or more striking, more colorful. And then he has templates of T-shirts, golf shirts, hats, cards that he'll then place it on everything with the colors to be like, does this logo look good in this color? Does it look good on this shirt? Does it look good as an insignia on a golf shirt versus a full-on logo? Should the text be under it? Should the text be beside it? Should it be integrated into it? Should it be the first letter of the text? It's like, there's a really neat video. I forget what it's called, but look up designing a logo for 20 minutes or something. I don't know what it's called.
That's pretty handy.
I posted it on Right Night. If you go on Facebook and join the Right Night Facebook group, I don't know if it's the only one, but I called mine Right Night. I don't know if you have to request an invite or whatever, but basically it's a Facebook page group where I tend to just post anything that has to do with like writing, creativity, film, animation, games, and stuff. But the writing slant is there, of course. But I sometimes loose it up to be more like, here's it, because it's all storytelling. It's all part of it. The writing's just the beginning. Once you get to like the editing stage, and once you get to like, drawing something, the writing is being influenced the whole way through. It never stays still solid. We got Catherine saying, did you guys watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine? The current season is great. I watched the hell out of the first season.
Is it already?
It's on TV. Like, this isn't on Netflix yet, so I haven't seen it, at least not on my Netflix or whatever. But the last season was up on Netflix, and I rewatch every now and then. I just rewatch episodes in any order just because it's such a good show. But yeah, I've been meaning to watch more of the new season, so I'd like to do that. But I can't. Well, I can, but I don't want to. Oh gosh, you're showing art?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting, so I'm like, yeah,
Is it gonna
sure.
crash? What software is this? This isn't Photoshop, right?
It's no Sketchbook Pro.
All right, let's switch over to you because my face is just my face.
You know, I mean, it's still pretty loose stuff, but I figure if I'm doodling, I'll share the
Yeah, well, that's fine.
montage work.
See if you guys can figure out what's going on. Okay, we got Tyler Mann saying, oh gosh, did I read the second one first, the first one second? All right, we'll go to that one first. I took graphic design for 2 years before switching to illustration diploma. Graphic design is an entirely different type of creative than comics and character design is. But then he follows up with, I'd rather work through a very, very large Photoshop file than use Illustrator. I think they're both separate comments. Okay, both separate comments. The point is they're both points. Yeah, illustration. Like, okay, this isn't even for me to say. I'm just agreeing with you because I have no chips in this table of this game of illustration because I'm not an illustrator, barely an artist, barely a designer, barely an animator. So I do move things around with keyframes and other such techniques. But yeah, it is a different mindset. Like there are some people who illustration do like characters and things, but it's more in like kind of like a magazine-esque way where it's like we just need kind of like characters to pose by and like be a part of this what the article is to give you the indication of what it is. And it's like I know people who basically their freelance work is like kind of coming up with designs and things to use for like top 10 ski destinations. And it's like what kind of background can we make for this article, and that's more of like an illustration route which came from. Couple other things I got written down on my chitty chat that I want to go over in previous ones. Recently, I borrowed from you, actually, the DVD for Ernest and Celestine. Delightful French animated film about a bear and a mouse based on... Yeah, it was really cute. It was like based on a series of books, I do so believe. And this kind of like builds together how those two became buddies, I guess, how they hang out. And yeah, no, if you haven't seen it, it's a very cute film. Very well done.
Yeah.
It's
beautifully done. It's all done in Flash too, and it looks like this really lovely, loose classical design. So it shows you really
like
what
watercolor
you can do
kind of
Flash.
look. Yeah, no, it's spectacular. So if you guys haven't got a shot yet, DVD came out with both languages on it. I watched it in French because I'm like, oh, this is how it is, and it's really cute, and I recommend it. Go check it out.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite theater watches. I think from either last summer or when it came out in limited run. It was just such a cute story.
Yeah. We got Andrew Murray saying, Katie, you said you do yoga. Do you find you need to constantly keep up with it to help with the amount of sitting you do while drawing?
Well, I mean, I'd like to do it as much as possible, but sometimes I just forget. But I found when I was doing it a couple times a week, I was doing fine. So I think the more the better, because you're just kind of stretching. It's not too strenuous if you don't make it too strenuous, and it's good to do kind of what I used to do is just 15 minutes in the morning, which I found would just kind of get you ready for the day. But regardless, everybody, if you're working desk jobs, you should get up and stretch I think it's supposed to be every 40 minutes, but if you can't do that, just every hour. Just get up, stretch your legs, lean over, stretch out your back, stretch out your arms, just shake it all out.
I will tell you guys, I've talked about this in previous episodes, but I'll tell you my method. I haven't done it actually in a while, so I should fix this. But I called it my 45-15 method, where basically you get yourself some sort of egg timer. Could be like this chicken one right here, or any others. And what you do is when you start working, the second you're about to start putting hand to keyboard or whatever you do, wind this bad boy up to 45 minutes. Leave it somewhere. If you don't want to hear the ticking noise, bury it under some blankets or something like that. Put on some headphones, listen to some music, whatever. For that 45 minutes, you do your job, you do your work, you do your writing, you do your editing, you do your drawing, you do your illustrating, your whatever you do, your gouache painting, you do that. But once it goes, once the 45 is up, you get up and you do something else. Be it, make yourself a cup of tea, be it go outside and stretch, be it go get the mail, or do a bit of laundry, or whatever you got to do around the house, or just getting up at work and go somewhere. But you reset it to 15 in your work area. Now, if you actually work in like an office, it's probably annoying to do this, but if you work at home or in a more private studio, you set it for 15 minutes, then leave, but leave it where you're going to have to be, Or the initial one, if you're doing 45 minutes and you have to do something in 45 minutes, leave it by where you got to go, so you have to go grab it or turn it off if it's like a clock that just keeps making noise. Either way, after your 15-minute break, get back to work, set it to 45 again, And I find like the 45-minute bursts of work seem less strenuous than like sitting there for 2 hours and being like, oh god, I gotta keep doing it.
Well, yeah, because if you can commit to a shorter time and get the work done, that's better than trying to force yourself to sit down. Okay, I gotta do 5 hours of this. Like, no, if I just do 40 minutes of this, I can take a break. And
yeah.
You put it in more bite-sized chunks.
And like 45 minutes doesn't feel long either, because like once you're at the 20-minute, you're like, oh, I only got like 25 more minutes to go. That's not even that. That's not nothing. And like the work burst feels shorter to me. And I was doing that for everything. I was doing that for like audio editing. I was doing that for video. I was doing that for writing. And you get stuff done throughout the day too. Like I got a little laundry set up. 15 minutes is all you need to do that. Or like I got this floor cleaned I need to do or whatever. I made this stack of pancakes. I don't know. I had to do something. And 15 minutes tends to be enough to do all those things. And you just come back, you feel refreshed, you don't feel like you're working too long again, and then eventually, you're going to take a full lunch break or something, which would be like an hour, and that's like rewarding in some way. But yeah, so the 45-15, I felt it worked nicely. It gets you up, and if you can, set yourself up with some sort of standing computer or just put your laptop on top of a couple of boxes like I do. That can help your posture as well, so you're not all slouching like I am right now.
Well, like I'm standing right now, like I just lifted up my Cintiq arm, so just kind of, it's you gotta avoid the chair as much as you can. It's not natural.
Oops.
It's not good for you.
This is me going back to Game Grumps. I just sit there watching these guys play Sonic, and I'm just like, oh god, why?
Why are you doing that?
Why? Because it's JonTron and Eagle Raptor in the old days. Good times. Good times. I hope that answers your question, Andrew. That yoga, yoga will help too. Some people do yoga like during their workday. They'll be like, oh, it's lunch. I'm going to a yoga studio. I'm like, when do you eat? How are you like running on the mat? Like some people go like the gym.
So you can eat at your desk, right?
I guess. Oh, so you're saying they don't do lunch break? They just do,
your lunch break is you can work out and then you come back and heat up your gross leftovers from last night and make everybody else feel
They're Stouffer's, General Tao chicken. That's
I'm assuming someone who does that is going to have a nice salad. And
I would imagine.
Some protein.
Well, they're going to be the people who go to Pinterest and get the jar with like the layers of there's the lettuce and then there's the carrots and keep the sauce separate. I'm like, oh, that is pretty smart.
Such a good idea. Oh,
it's like jar lettuce. You basically you go to your desk, you throw it and it shatters and you have lettuce on your plate. It's great.
No, it's not a smoke bomb.
It's not a lettuce bomb. It looks like it's like layered in such a way where it's like, I make sure this is in the middle so it spreads out all over the olives, and there you go.
That's a great idea.
We've seen those at the little shop down the street that does. It's this little cafe by the park. They have this hot chocolate in a jar that's like, here's the chocolate. Here's the marshmallows. Here's some chocolate chips too, just for heck. I'm just like, throw it into the vats, just like Ursula. It's just like.
Then you're drinking glass.
If it was candy glass, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I want someone to sell this now. You're like for the witch's brew in your family. You just like whip this hot chocolate thing.
I don't think anyone would trust you though. You're like, no, trust this candy. You're like, no.
Yeah. I made it with gelatin and fire. It's great.
Gelatin.
Well, I was watching a video where a guy's making his own gummy bears, and it's basically you get non-flavored gelatin powder stuff. Then you get any flavored gelatin powder you want. It's like watermelon, I don't care. Dump it into the pot with a little bit of water. Let it melt and cool and stuff like that. They just put them into templates, put them in the freezer, and they come out as gummies.
Mm-hmm.
And why stop at bears?
Those giant bears you can get.
Oh yeah, like a VAT 19.
Where it's the size of your head.
Yeah, or you see them down at the runways in the States where it's just the Pier 31 or whatever in San Francisco. I was tempted to get one, but it was $60. I'm just I don't need $60 of gummy bear with a fork and a knife. I can't even bring this home probably. It wouldn't get on the plane. Andrew Murray asking a question, which he just posted the answer, or is that part of the question? I'll read it to you since you can't see this. Andrew Murray asks, what is the best takeout leftovers eaten cold? Chinese, pizza, or curry?
I don't like cold curry. I could eat Chinese food cold.
Not pizza?
No. I don't like cold pizza.
Well, Andrew answers D, all of the above.
Oh, damn, a trick question.
Oh, Snapplejack. Funny enough, I find KFC is better the next day. Same as lasagna. For some reason, lasagna is better the next day.
I really like turkey after Thanksgiving. Not like the turkey itself, but making turkey sandwiches.
Something about like the hot to cold to hot again chemical reaction in certain foods is like stronger in some than it is in others, probably. Quickly, I wanted to bring up. I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about last week that we didn't get time to. You mentioned you jumped back into one of your favorite anime of all time. That just probably has aged so well with, your rose-tinted aviator goggles or whatever. They probably.
Well, I didn't want to get too.
The Vision of Escaflowne.
Yeah.
I loved it when I was younger too.
Loved it. I loved it. We saw it. I saw it when I was like 15, I think, and I loved. I don't want to spoil anything, but like I really loved the just the characters and the fantasy plot and just like the high school girl goes to magical land. So like that could be me.
And she's on the track team.
Yeah,
that's
and I joined the track
I could
team
do that
because of it. Yeah, that's why I joined the track team in high school.
So she wasn't a javelin thrower though. She was like a sprinter.
Well, I can't run, so I had to make do.
The next best thing, I wanted to be more like
throwing spears.
See, you took the track team from Escaflowne and the Lance of Longinus from Evangelion.
There you go.
Like best of two worlds. Alleluia!
That's pretty much what was going through my head all the time when I'm practicing.
Every time you're like, this is like Handel's Messiah.
It's either like the big Escaflowne song or
like black Escaflowne just you're just whipping the spear. Well, that was the thing you learned. You're supposed to hate the spear.
Yeah.
And track. You're supposed to be like,
I don't have enough rage. I'm just kind of disappointed all the time. It's not a burning anger.
Get out of here, spear.
Now what?
Some people have like a battle cry when they whip a spear or launch a
I know, and they can really get the Lance of Longinus.
Important question for Captain Merritt. Stop the presses. Katie, Team Alan or Van?
Van. I love Van so much when I was a kid. I like those dark hair.
He only used once. It was the best.
What did he have?
Remember the spinny shield that you only use once because every dragon only has one breath of fire ever?
Yeah.
He's like, whoop, done, whoop, gone.
Well, I don't think he was anticipating it lasting that long.
Yeah.
You're how excited I got answering that question. he was like my first cartoon crush.
I guess so, man.
Nobody knew what I was talking about in school.
Yeah, well, because this is when we had them on the VHSs from like either Bandai or Anime Village, whichever they were called, based on the sub or dub. It was a weird company because they changed their name based on if it was a subtitle or dub. It was like but it was like Anime Village. I forget if that was the English or the Japanese version, but it was the same damn company. But they released these really nice box sets for the time, like illustrated and everything, with like not even character art. It was like design art of the characters. It was a lot more like illustrated looking versus like here's just a photo from a Disney movie.
No, it was really pretty. The box art was really flowy and lovely.
Yeah.
And I really liked it because I hadn't seen anything like it. Like this is kind of when we were starting to get into anime, and it was like, Sailor Moon had just come out, and that was like something I'd never seen before, like a action magical girl show starring all girls, and then Escaflowne was like a fantasy robot adventure that was made as like for girls essentially is what the creators were saying. I mean, it's for everybody, but it was like something that I felt like I could get a lot out of. I didn't feel like I was being excluded. But I think because I was kind of marathoning it in my off time, and I think what I noticed was because when we were younger, we could only watch maybe one tape a week. We weren't
every Friday.
So every Friday you could watch, 3 or 4 episodes, and that was it. So if there was a cliffhanger, you had all week to kind of come up with your own ideas for what might have happened. So it made the series seem a lot longer to me. And it's like you come up with, oh my gosh, like what happens now? Like how do they get away from this situation? You kind of come up with your own ideas. Whereas when you're marathoning something, you're kind of just plowing through the story, and you're not pausing enough to let stuff sink in. So I thought that was kind of interesting how it was different, where I was like, this went by really fast. I remember this being a lot more fleshed out. But I was like, oh, that's probably just me coming up with
all week speculating. It's like, will that vision come true? Will Van get out of the Escaflowne?
But like,
find out next time on The Vision.
Well,
actually, no, that was the end of every episode too, was that, boop, ding, 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 ding. There's like this music, and you're just like, oh, next time on Escaflowne.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I still really enjoyed it. The animation still is really beautiful. The music by Yoko Kanno is gorgeous.
Oh my god, yes. Once again, I made my playlists of anime music back in the day, and Black Escaflowne is one amazing piece of music. It is so intense. It's like everyone's just screaming Escaflowne, and it just goes dun 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 dun, and you're like, oh my gosh. And then they redid it for the movie. I think they kind of did like a tribute to that song. It was like
it's pretty similar.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then it's got the movie has such beautiful music.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, I have it upstairs.
The movie's interesting because the anime was inspired by like European military folklore, whereas the movie looked more like traditional Japanese armor inspiration. Like they kind of changed the genre, historic genre of the design of.
Yeah, it's Japanese and Celtic.
Well, the beginning
or
bird
not,
song,
like more Gaelic kind of, like kind of more tribal.
Like that song at the beginning of the movie, Bird Song, is when he's falling through the sky, and the movie just starts that way, and it's a really nice piece of music.
Fun fact, well, the reason I kind of started on this whole tear was I borrowed the movie from the house, because I was like, I haven't seen this in a while, and the movie you can watch the storyboards along with it. So I was like, yeah, I'll do some research. So you can actually watch the movie playing, and then the bottom right-hand corner, they have the storyboard, like that you can follow.
Oh, that's cool.
With it. And it's cool just to see how loose it is.
It's like...
Yeah, obviously.
Now what you're drawing just kind of very like there's a character, there's stuff happening.
It's like the animation crew knows what they're doing, so you can have the lightest touch of character here, this happens, or like here's a still frame of a character here, and the animators are gonna embellish it and make it so much better. It was just cool seeing that.
Don't they have like this use of red and blue in their storyboards where it's like this is moving, this is stationary, or?
I mean, we sometimes use red just for. Red arrow means moving lines, but you could just do it all in pencil and it's fine.
Yeah, I forget the series what it's called. It's like the dude has like the white hair and he's dressed in kind of like the robes and they like solve problems. I'm not sure what it's about, but there was that one episode I think I sent you that Gene sent me where it's like the episode starts off as a storyboard and it's like. But they're aware that the show is a storyboard. Like, why am I moving so jittery, kind of thing? And it's like showing the arrows. And the guy comes in and is like, they haven't even colored it yet. And it was really interesting just to see them literally use like these sources, the original artwork. Yeah. But overall, so how has Escaflowne grown?
Overall, I still really loved it. I think I was still really confused about what the villains were up to. Like, I kind of got it, but I think it was the same as 14-year-old me, where I was like, what? But I mean, it made sense. But
well, like as I put,
like, why are the bad guys trying to make these characters hook up?
Yeah,
they're very interested in her love life, which is a little invasive.
Yeah, I think like what I pointed out after we talked about this was we were more interested in like the individual stories of characters interacting versus the overall scope, because it's like
I just love the
big evil empire wants a vision to come true. I have no idea what's going on or how he convinced this whole political team that this is the way to go.
Yeah, they want their destiny to come true. And
but
like, yeah,
everyone has individual conflicts, like Delando versus Van versus like Delando and Alan, two completely different interactions where Delando kind of like loves fighting Van, but just hates Alan. It's like two very different actions from the same character. And that was always kind of cool to see. Or just like, who's the cat person? What's her backstory? Or who's this mole guy? Or what's this guy doing with this ship? And why are these guys the repairmen of the thing? And now he's bonded to the thing. Like that was.
So that stuff was cool because I was able to be like, oh, I know what's coming up, and knew where it was going. But yeah, man, it's still one of my tops for sure.
We got. Lil Armina saying, have you ever seen an Escaflowne toy robot? I guess you mean like figurine. Does it exist somewhere? You actually had one. You had one, Katie. Was it the McFarlane line, or you had an Escaflowne and I had a big O?
Really?
It was from the same line. I thought you did.
I gotta find this. I mean, I had a Hitomi figurine, but.
Well, no, she was like a statuette, like she was standing on a feather and like holding a thing. But I thought I got the big O little robot dude. And you got an Escaflowne that had a sword and like a little.
I must have. I gotta find that for my toy shelf.
Like this is when like the anime toys were few and far between. Like you would find it. Anime conventions were gold mine as a kid because we didn't have this eBay. The local comic shops only had so much. You had to go either to like downtown Toronto to like find some interesting stuff, either at the Snail because they usually had more like the rare and interesting stuff, or when like Anime North rolled around or Fan Expo, all the companies from around North America would bring all their wares, and you'd be like, and you're like CDs and pillows and figurines and plushies, those little plushies that they all look exactly the damn same, but they have different felt hairs, so they're worth more or less based on what they represent. Not just Sephiroth, $20. Oh, Ash Ketchum, who needs that anymore? $5. You know, like, anyway, the point is, you know, there was stuff out there, especially now. Now that Katie is like way back into way into Full Metal, we're going to comic shops, being like, "You guys getting Full Metal Alchemist figurines?" And the guys are like, "Yeah, like 20 years ago." What are you talking about?
5 years, not that old.
The thing is, like, I'm looking online now, and it's like, "Oh, hey, the Rebel Tech Edward, $200." I'm like, okay, that would have been like 70 at tops, but now it's 200. Oh bye.
It's for the best, I suppose. I don't really need new toys.
Probably not, yeah.
I want them, though.
Now that all those Sailor Moon figures are out and we don't care about like the rest of the scouts, we're like, yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm good. That's fine.
We got Matthew Pachard saying, curious, what's all your top anime shows of all time? Trigun.
Escaflowne.
The Ranma OAVs, because I like the comics better than the TV series.
Slayer's TV series.
Ooh, good call. Cowboy Bebop, of course, has a great place. That was in our transitional from this is more mature. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Evangelion.
Toy shelf. Yeah.
Razafon, little Evangelion tribute love. I don't know.
That one was pretty.
What else was my favorite?
I like Last Exile a lot.
Oh yeah, Last Exile. That was good. I love Last Exile. That's a great soundtrack. I like Haibane Renmei.
Haibane Renmei was great. Abenobashi is great.
Abenobashi is spectacular if you like genre parody.
Really fun.
XL Saga is also very good at genre parody. And that's a soundtrack I listen to way too much, too. No, Abenobashi's great. Cromartie High School is just delightful for its limited... its use of limited animation resources is just kind of brilliant in its own way.
Why did I delete this?
I'm trying to think, is there anything else? There's other kind of little gems that you got Irresponsible Captain Tyler.
Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun.
These are all I'm just trying to think of all the box sets we ever had back in the day. The very first DVD box set we ever had was Lodos Wars, and that was the closest thing to a Tolkien-esque fantasy tale.
Super nostalgic, yeah.
Yeah, very early DVD. It was a really nice box set too. It had everything. It was friggin' U.S. Manga distributed it, that old company.
Mm-hmm.
Oh nice. Gosh, do it now. That was the other company. It was ADV.
I mean, we watched almost everything back in the day.
And, yeah, whatever was available, we probably watched a bit of it. Yeah, that's anime. Lots of anime out there, my friend. What's you guys' favorites anime from the day? Nowadays, I wouldn't know what it is. I'm like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's free, and the other thing with the people and eye patches on schoolgirls. I don't know what's going on anymore. Everyone has pink eye. I don't get it.
I know.
I don't get this era of anime. Everyone likes these pink eye characters. Stop it. Wash your eyes. Quickly, interesting stuff. Big news that came out was the fan edit of the Hobbit trilogy finally
that was on my list.
The 4-hour version of the Hobbit called the Tolkien edit, I think. Which is something that I would definitely be interested in watching.
Edit. They make it closer to the Hobbit, so they get rid of all the unnecessary stuff.
Even the Silmarillion stuff, it's just that's a different book, whatever's.
Yeah.
All the retcon stuff. All the weird additional character stuff, you're like, well, they added that in.
Mm-hmm. The romance is taken out, some of the fight stuff that just kind of went over long is taken out.
That's the whole third movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The whole third movie is one big fight scene.
Wait.
Yeah. It's one long-ass movie.
It's a long movie.
I'm curious to see it, because the other thing, what do we say coming out of the theater? Going back to the "that was easy" button, we're just that was Eagles.
Yeah. Because
once again, these damn Eagles are just this ringer last-minute idea where it's basically. Have you seen the sketch from BMX Bandit? And what's his name?
Deus Ex Machina.
Deus Ex Machina and BMX Bandit.
It's a Mitchell and Webb show, or that Mitchell and Webb book.
Yeah, the Mitchell and Webb book is a British comedy series, and they have this one episode that has 3 installments of Deus Ex Machina and the BMX Bandit, which is basically this commander of angels with a beard and all looking wise is teamed up with this streetwise BMX trickster. and solve crime.
And then the BMX guy's gonna come up with some plot to like, okay, we'll get the terrorists because I'll do this flip on my bike and skid down that ramp and then do all these kind of moves. I'll take him out with my back spoke. And then
Sex will just be like, that does sound good, but I could just summon my army of angels to save the hostages. He's like, oh, all right, I guess we could do that. And then he goes, come my angels, and like everything is resolved. Yeah, and that happens every time with the damn eagles in these Hobbit movies. It's just like, oh, we got out of that scrape. I'm just like, oh, God, that was eagles.
Yeah, there was some awkward dialogue in that movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when I came out of it, I was like, oh, that was fun, and then I just kept getting more angry. I felt bad.
Sitting on the streetcar just like...
I remember just ranting to Jerry about it, and then when we were driving to the ski hill, I just went on this tirade, and I'm like, it's just a movie, though, but it's it's good learning. It's good learning.
Yeah. But it was just like, to me, it's like, I know we came into it being like, let's get this over with. And the thing was, it started off promising. I'm like, all right, we got like action, we got characters and stuff going on in the city. This is great. We're meeting some new people, I guess. These armies are showing up. And then after all the armies show up, that's the rest of the movie. Mm-hmm. It's just fighting forever. And
well, it's called Battle of Five Armies.
Oh. And I've made the example that I'm like, I've watched the Raid and the Raid 2, and they're spectacular, and it's basically a giant fight scene, but somehow it was paced stronger. So this is why I'm curious about this Hobbit, the Shrink-Eat-Ink edition, where it's just like 4 hours long, and it's just the bits. It's just the bits.
Mm-hmm.
We got Catherine saying, regarding favorite anime, Paprika is a solid movie.
Oh, Paprika's lovely.
Satoshi Kon films.
Yeah.
Have you seen, oh no, that's the example. Have you seen, what was the series? Paranoia Agent was a really interesting series. Promising guy. It's the thing, I didn't finish it because I think I like the first half stronger than when stuff starts getting revealed, but it's a really interesting series. It feels kind of more like an anthology, even though it is like a cohesive kind of plot of stuff. Now you're just making me think of other series too.
I know, we could go on and on and on and on because there's so many things I like.
Let's do it in a jig. Witch Hunter Robin.
Well, it's one of those things that it's on my to-do list for whenever I get some time off to make a whole bunch of fan art for Fan Art Friday, but haven't got there yet.
Cowboy Bebop movie, spectacular also. It was supposed to be called Knocking on Heaven's Door, but here they just called it The Movie!
Yeah.
Yeah, because why not? Great soundtrack, too. Once again, Yoko Kanno.
Yoko Kanno's amazing, and you posted an interview a while back, which is really interesting.
Yeah, there was like an interview with her, and it was just, I forget what it was about, or just like a bio thing. But,
yeah, it was kind of like her, just how she got, because I think obviously a lot of people do too, but like, she's incredible. Her range and just the variety of music is amazing, and some of my favorite music from anime TV series and movies is all made by her. But it's just interesting to hear how she got started and everything like that. Like, not even knowing, like, what is this drum set? Like, how beats and things like that. Just how obsessed she was with jazz and trying to get, like, find, like, kind of an Asian culture for jazz music that she was trying to discover, which was really cool.
And that's why the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack's so cool. It's just, like, all style. It's nice. Mm-hmm. I think she also did, like, Jinro, which was that interesting, I forget if it was a film or an anime. Did she do the Wolf's Rain? Was that hers as well?
I think so,
Wolf's
yeah.
Rain? Stray, yay! With her main American language singer, Steve Connell or something like that. Like, he's does all the English songs she has. He's like, walk in the rain! Like, he does all these songs. He's great. Steve Connell or something. He was on my soundtrack because I just had this folder of just Yoko Kanno stuff. ABC Mouse Parade, I have no idea what that song's about, but it's just a weird, demented march. There's one called Black Coffee, I think, where in between the jazzy bits, this guy is just asking this girl out, and he's just like, come on, let's just go for some coffee. And she's like, no. Doom, 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 doom. Oh, just a couple hang out. Nope. Doom, 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 doom. It's this weird bit of music. She has a lot of strange, interesting pieces, but also she did like a bunch of like mech stuff. I don't know if it was like Pat LaBerbe, but it was like Macross or one of those like variations of Macross, which is usually like, because Macross was like integrated in singing as well, where like the opposing team had like war singers who like sang, encouraged, like basically like soccer chants basically for mechs. It's like, let's go robots. And they'd just be like, all right, let's do this.
I feel pumped. You feel pumped?
I'm feeling it.
Definitely feeling something.
Let's go Macross.
Go, goddamn.
I think that they put more effort into it. I think, but like, cause they're basically designed to look like J-pop idols, and they're like celestial beings on big screens. But it's never as simple as like robots. Yeah, yeah.
Give me a G, give me a U, give me an A.
Gun dang it! Yay! Let's do the wave. And this is like on your little view screen while you're like piloting, be like, what the.
I feel like I could defeat 100 armies right now.
Like, I'm so inspired. Roy's our boy. I'll throw it back to Smash Bros. It's some of the best chanting. Oh, Jigglypuff. Alright, Matthew Richard says you two should check out the How It Should Have Ended videos, which we do. There's a Lord of the Rings one, is pretty funny. Yep, always watch those after you see a movie to help.
Oh, I know how it should have ended. I read the book.
Yeah, they're gonna be like 2 movies ago. That's how much.
Yeah. No, it's you know. Yeah, movies are really hard to make, and I don't. I hate smack talking, but it feels really good.
Yeah. We took our time and our money. We got Alicia Denong saying Revolutionary Girl Utena is my favorite older anime. I love it, even though the older I get, the more I watch it and understand the plot, the more uncomfortable I get with the last half.
Well, I never watched it when I was younger. I think something about the, like, I was trying to think about why I didn't watch it, but I think, like, the abusive boyfriend stuff really freaked me out as a kid. And I mean, it's like, they defeat him right away, and it's like, now Utena has the Rose Bride, and everything's all cool. But I think at the time I was like, he's mean, and I don't like this. But
yeah, like, well, dude was just casually slapping her about, and, like, it's, you know,
it was infuriating.
Once Utena kind of like gained her. It's a weird, like, you have to watch the series to understand this weird ownership thing that goes on. It's very curious, but like it became more of a friendship with her. Mm-hmm. But then when she like lost to him again, she had to go back to him, and you as a viewer were just like, oh god, no, stop this, don't make this happen. How do we fix this? And to a degree, I'm kind of like happy that, you know, they would have that kind of, like, I don't like that this shit happens.
It's really good that they.
But the show that this kind of thing can happen is like very jarring, but very awakening in an anime that's so, like, you know, fantastical thing. It's like they're still fucking assholes out there, you know, and you're just like, geez, he is not a good person. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, I think, so now, like, I started watching it now, and I'm enjoying it. I'm watching it slower, but
she's saying she's saying she's uncomfortable with the latter half. We only had the first half of box sets, which was like 4 VHSs and half of a face, because I didn't see what the other half of the face was when you put the 2 box sets together, because each tape had like a different drawing on it. So we got up to the point, and this is why I thought the series was weird, because it just kind of ended on a nothing note, because I guess we never technically finished it. Mm-hmm. But like we got to the point where the story showed that like there was like 2 princes, and she was hiding in a coffin or something, and it was like a flashback. And then there was a 3rd one, but then it just stopped, and so we never met who the leader person dude is, who they're always like saying, a letter came from Yahoo upstairs. Like, I don't think we actually met whoever that is in my viewing of it. And then I went straight to the movie, which I'm like, well, this is the weirdest damn thing ever made. So there you go. If you want a real mind bend, watch the Utena movie, which is just like, I'll preface it with saying the director is a fan of cars. Not Disney's Cars, but just like cars in general. Which will explain everything to you. You have to understand he likes automobiles. This will explain to you why certain events happen that have no other possible explanation. Good golly, Miss Molly. But I feel like I should go back to Utena just because it was a really curious series. Like, I like how they had those shadow in-betweens where it's like, did you hear? Did you hear?
Yeah, stylistically, it's really
a party. Cool. Very stylistic. Upside down castle and staircase. Not to talk about staircases again.
No, stop it.
We're done with that. But yeah, that's an old anime. At some point, I'd like to go back to a finish. Still haven't actually watched the redubbed classic Sailor Moon. Don't know where to do that. At some point, we're supposed to.
Well, I mean, I taped all those VHSs when I was 13. So if you want to watch that and some classic commercials.
That would actually be a treat of some sort. Dry bar. AC flag. Blah blah blah. Cool. I think my mouth's getting dry from all this talking. I thought we were only going to be going for half an hour, and we're still going.
Oh yeah, we kind of kept going.
We'll probably wrap up shortly. We got Catherine Maripol saying, speaking of princesses and magical girls, watch Princess Tutu. If you haven't yet, the name sounds off-putting to some, but it's really well done anime, loosely based on
really
Swan
cute.
Lake. Genuinely funny comedy moments will make you cry. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Well, thank you. I'll add that to my list.
Is that the one based on a Tezuka property, or is that something else?
I don't know.
Because there was like a ballet princess series, or was that called like Swan something or other? That Tezuka did way back in the day.
I mean, he did so much, probably.
He did a bit of everything.
It was like every anime. Every manga ever.
Got my age saying, did anyone ever see Space Carrier Blue Noah, also known as Thunder Sub?
No, I haven't.
It's an old anime I randomly got on VHS as a present when I was little. I swear it felt like I'm the only one who has ever heard of it, but the name is so great. Thunder Sub.
Thunder Sub does sound good to say.
There's this weird era of like when I was kind of falling out of watching anime so religiously, where it's like there's these odd like ADV releases that are mech based and based on like heavy kind of militaristic kind of things with subs and ships and I have like fever dream merging of all of them into one, which is like Gas and Soken or like some sort of cast.
I saw something with subs, yeah.
It was something to do with
people that turn into sharks.
And this is at the same time that we're watching like Full Metal Panic and mechs and snow and political lines and boring people. Casserin's something different. Gassenserker, Germany, robots. This is when I started losing interest. I was just like, what is all this stuff that we have in our house? I'm like, when they stopped translating the names to it, it's just got really difficult for me. I'm like, I don't know what this is. So Thunder Sub may have been amongst those.
Thunder Sub.
Thunder Sub. That feels like a British puppet show. But it's just like,
it really does.
It doesn't sound like this riveting anime. It's just like, they're sworn to defend the seas and all the porpoises beneath. They are Thunder Sub. Dun 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 dun. And all these puppets like awkwardly turn to the camera. Like,
I love it.
Dun 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 dun. Thunder Sub. I don't know. It doesn't sound like the hot new anime you're like all jumping on. Speaking of which, I know there's that new Magical Boy one that I'm curious to see.
Yeah, that looks amazing.
They had like the collection of the transformation sequences got posted online, so I'm like, this I gotta check out.
I saw one where they were shouting out all their different magical attacks. They're just like coming up with random names for stuff.
Yeah.
So haphazardly. It looks adorable.
I have to check that out. We got Alicia Denang saying, I watched Utena first in middle school, and I loved it, but I didn't understand half of it since it's so allegorical. Over my head at the time. Now that I'm older, I understand it in a whole different way.
That's good.
I understand all. Utena. Go to the ball. The one thing I was really interested about Utena was like the premise, how it's written, like how stories are told. It's like a prince always comes to save the day, so she decided to help herself to become a prince.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Like it was such an interesting kind of like writing of the concept of a prince versus like what historically we understand to be a prince. It's like she wanted
it's the symbolism of a prince. Yeah.
And she's like, so she became a prince. I'm like, that is so interesting. Like I like that they kind of like made that play, and let alone that like translated, so well. It's like it's such an interesting idea, and that's the premise of it, which is cool. Submarine Super 99, says Catherine Merritt.
That sounds about right.
I know there's Space Train 99, which I never watched, which there's also like tied into Captain Herlock, I guess, and that Daft Punk music video, and it's all in the same world. I don't know. There's a lot of anime out there.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's just about everything for now because I'm going to lose my voice. Maybe time to start wrapping it up. We talked about Hobbits. Quickly, Animatic TO is back, if Andrew Murray's still here. It's the new season of Animatic TO. Start up again. If you're in Toronto and you want to hang out with some animation people, hear some talks and chits and chats on the subjects of the animation world and industry and panel type things like that. I guess there's a Facebook page. I'm not good at telling this.
Yeah,
look up Animatic TO, right, on Facebook and join so you get invited to all the events. It happens usually down at the Rhino on the Queen Street, or was that King?
Yeah,
Queen?
once a month, different artists come in to lecture on whole bunch of different subjects. Last week we had the delightful Genevieve FT come in to talk about working freelance and doing it's working a day job and doing stuff for fun on the side. So it was kind of talking about her journey as an artist and then how she works to organize her time so that she can do her 9 to 5 and then go home and work on her own projects. Which, most of us, I think a lot of us who get into the arts, that's kind of what we want to do. There was a dream we had that made us want to get into this, and then income might not necessarily be it. It's definitely amazing to be able to make a living drawing, but you got that other itch you got to scratch, so it's just finding the time to work on your projects on the side.
It's like work-life balance is also tied into like hobby and like interest and like, so do you play video games for fun while you try to draw comics for that side living, while you do this other job for your regular living, while you have to hang out with your family and friends over here? It's like it's a whole balance we're all still struggling to figure out. No one ever has it perfect unless they live on the internet. And everything they do is integrated into one beautiful thing. Quickly, we got Captain Merritt saying Submarine Super 99 is the same world as Herlock 2, nicknamed Legiverse after the creator. I'm curious because I've never really watched anything from said Legiverse, and it's such a distinct art style. And there's like the lady on the train who's like, I'm on a space train. This dude is short and has a hat, and he's in the other show too, I think. Or they're drawn very similarly. Second question, what's these like Battleship Yamada stuff? Because all of these years of anime on the outskirts of our interest has been like these space boats, very similar to Captain Tyler, if not, Tyler was inspired by that stuff, but like these space boats genre that has like the red underbelly and the blue upper, and they just fly around space, and like a live action movie's coming out soon, Yamada, I think. I've never touched that stuff. What's that all about? It's been around forever. Figurines, get your models, 1/18th scale. Andrew Merrillson says, we must talk business after you can. If you can. Yes. If you can. Yes.
Yes.
Andrew Murray. That thing. other coming, T-Fest 2015. 15. Right? Did that already happen, or is that coming up?
It's the end of the month.
End of the month. End your month with tea. I don't have a pun. Have tea, why don't you? Come down to the Toronto Reference Library and get some tea, because there's lots of tea. There's tea pouring ceremonies, probably. You have tea, and it's in Toronto, and it's tea. What you going to do? Is it free? No. You have to pay for tea.
Probably.
Okay. Gotcha. Come to Tea Fest. I don't know what it's called. Is it Tea Fest?
I think it's Toronto Tea Festival.
Yes, not to be confused with TCAF,
TCAF.
Also at the Toronto Reference Library. And you still have to check out that Beguiling shop.
I do have to check out the pop-up.
If it's still there. I thought it was going to go away and come back or something like that.
Oh, I gotta hurry.
Beyond that, any other upcoming events you want to report on? Oh, I know. Once again, FrostCon is coming up, right? I think I mentioned all this last week, but now it's not in my notes. So I don't know what to say about it. But I do want to check out. Tyler has another show coming up from the Animazing, I believe it's called. I don't have it written down. Shoot. Look up that at FrostCon coming up on a convention day near you. You guys have this tool called the internet, which you can discover it all. But if you like your, speaking of all this old anime, potentially there may be some anime references in there that you'll find delightful. That might be just for you, because you're like, I know that show. No one else appreciates Super Submarine 99, but this musical understands me. There's a whole song about Super Submarine 99, I believe, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong.
Now you're putting the pressure on Tyler.
I believe there's like a whole dance number where they're like, we're from the Legiverse.
But don't quote us.
It's our curse to dance on the Space Train 99 and Daft Punk music video. I don't know anything about the Legiverse. Tell me if I'm wrong. There's also a Newton sequence where they walk up an endless spiral staircase and there's an upside-down castle. It's gonna be great. Check out Animazing. Look it up, FrostCon and fandom musicals online. They have websites. Beyond that, I don't think I'm doing anything. I got nothing going. No. Anything you could get one last look at this art, folks. So never see it again until it's done.
Until it's being so close to being done. I know this was supposed to be finished a while ago, but holidays and work, what can I tell you? What can I tell you?
Yeah. This show, of course, has been Shanahanigans Live every Tuesday, if you can believe it. Usually around 8 o'clock, otherwise we'll tell you differently. If you want to find out more about when it is or when it isn't, go to the Shanahanigans Facebook page, SHAN.
HAN.
IGNS. Spelled just like it's spelled. Whoop, right there. If you want to follow us individually, Katie Shy on the Twitters and Tumblrs, Shaggy Shan on the Twitters and Tumblrs. You can also go to shaggyshan.com if you want to check out my portfolio and crap, because maybe like this, someone who needs someone to do some work and wants to pay that someone to do that work so they could eat food again. That wouldn't be too bad. You can send my portfolio site their way with shaggyshan.com, which got voice stuff, comic stuff, visual animation stuff for post-production. Just saying, putting it out there. You can also look at Katie's blogger Badooble at Katie Blog. What's it called?
KatieShy.com.
KatieShy.com.
Also, we have websites that work.
We have websites that work too, which is great because we had this kind of URL panic in the last few days. You want to go to SiliKingdom.com.
Basically, really quick, what happened was stay on top of your domain name expiration dates, because I cut it a little bit close, but I still have plenty of time. But my payment didn't get through, and my provider is the kind of people that don't answer right away when you panic and try and get in touch with them. So we lost our domains to SiliKingdom.com and Shanahanigans over the weekend, and then I got it back today. So thank goodness for that.
Yeah, our provider is the type of provider that says has 24-hour communications and doesn't get back to you for 2 days. So there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Good times. Anyway, you want to go to SiliKingdom.com for all things Silly Kingdom, of course. We post fan art and stuff up there that we thoroughly enjoy posting and sharing with you guys, as well as updates every now and then on what's happening and stuff about pre-ordering and buying. You can also go to Shanahanigans.com if you want to look up some of our classic comics, as well as some little things here and there up in the tab. Click tabs and things happen. All good. And lastly, uberfriendship.com is where I just post stuff that I'm like, this is where this belongs. Uberfriendship.com. And actually, I'm almost done with a new video for Uberfriendship's YouTube page. So stay tuned for that. Yes. Still exciting things to come. One more chapter of Twilight.
Oh boy.
One more and it's done! I wanted to be done before New Year's, but then I lost my voice. If you want to hear how bad I lost my voice, go to my SoundCloud, Shaggy Shan. You can hear my Winnie the Pooh New Year's address.
New Year's address.
I should have called it that.
New Year's address.
Here's the thing. I called it Winnie New Year's. There could have been such a better pun. Happy Pooh Year's would have been just as good.
Yeah, why didn't you do that? I'm disappointed.
But now I also like the Winnie the Pooh New Year's address. That's even better. Oh,
it just sounds so important.
It's like everyone in Britain stops what they're doing for the Winnie the Pooh New Year's address. You're not allowed to make fun of it.
Oh, man.
This has been Shanahanigans Live.
Yes.
Thank you guys for sticking by.
Thanks for hanging out on a Tuesday, getting your work done while we work on our work.
And as we always say, keep on making stuff, keep on absorbing stuff, and remember, criticism can also be for education. Just don't be a dick about it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad, but...
Always learn from things you don't enjoy. Never just tear it down without reason. Learn from it and make it stronger and integrate it into your world. We'll hope to see you guys next week. Same time, maybe earlier, maybe later. Stay tuned to the Facebook page, and we'll see you guys next week. Cheers.
See y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.